record on computer. Welcome to episode 9 of the Big Bad Bruins Bantah podcast. I am Papa Bruin, and welcome to probably the most miserable I've been this season, and it's going to be ugly. I'm just going to forewarn everyone. I've already forewarned our guest, Lauren Campbell of NESN. She going over her bio, which I'm going to ask you a question about this shortly. Lauren Campbell is a digital content producer for NESN. Brian Johnson, the apologist, can ask you about that. And she covers the Sox and the Bruins. I know what I need to hear about, how did Mike Timlin step on you? Tell me how that happened.
So it was during the 2013 World Series.
Okay.
And I was working as a production assistant for MLB Network. And I ran into the team store because it was much colder than any of us anticipated. So I wanted to grab a sweatshirt.
Sure.
And he had gone into the store as well. He kind of got swarmed by fans, not swarmed, but a couple people came up to him and he backed up a little bit and stepped on me and turned around and was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And I was like, "It's cool. It happens all the time."
You're Mike Timlin. You can step on me all you want. Thank you so much. But, well, thank you for joining the Big Bad Bruins Bantah podcast. I appreciate it. And again, I wish we had to talk about good things, but since the 12th of February, there hasn't been much good to talk about the Boston Bruins. And just bring it up on our screen here, you see that in the last 10, they are 3-5-2. And if we look at the streak column, we see that everybody's going north and they're going south. And that's not good, especially being in the division. Now, if we're in the division with the Leafs, it'd be a different story because that division's garbage. But Lauren Campbell, what is wrong with the Boston Bruins?
Oh, man. Well, I mean, right now there are a slew of injuries that they're dealing with. And also they're really reliant on that top line. They have over half the goals, I believe, at least like 2 or 3 games ago, they accounted for at least half the goals. It's the same problem we've seen season in and season out, just constant top line production and a little bit of secondary scoring. And by a little bit, I mean very minimal.
But sorry to jump in, but hasn't this been the case since, I would have to say since Jerome McGinley left in 2015, and has been very glaring and apparent, like, the series against the Blues in the Cup final. The first line gets shut down, and then they couldn't do much. And Don Sweeney has done 0.0 to change that in the last 2 seasons. I mean, do you agree with that assessment? Or
it's frustrating because he has added good players, and they're not producing. I don't think Charlie Coyle's had a shot on goal in several games, and Nick Ritchie obviously is slowing down. I didn't think he would be as hot as all for the whole season. That would be nice if he would, but Craig Smith, what has he done? And it's just, you going down the line, you have Corrali hasn't really done anything. Anders Bjork has shown flashes of his greatness, but we've seen that before. And I know he's been riddled with a shoulder injury, but we've always seen flashes. And it's just like, when are these people going to reach their potential? Because now more than ever, especially in the shortened season, 4 teams from each division are getting in. They need to step up. And I'm not so worried about the injuries. Those guys will hopefully come back 100%. But those are a lot of blue line injuries. Those aren't forward injuries.
I know Lazan, Carlo. Have you heard anything about Carlo? What his status is? I haven't.
This morning, Cassidy had said that he's doing like off ice work.
Okay.
So he's improving, but he's not on the ice yet. But I mean, that's obviously great news if he's being able to, even if it's light workouts, he didn't really go into detail. Right. It's just great that he's doing stuff away from the ice.
And what's up with Tuukka Rask? Because it's funny, quickly, that the Rask haters don't want him to play, but then give him shit for not playing. So I'm trying to figure that one out because Halak was not at his best last night. A couple softies, which were really deflating. And I basically said Halak has been garbage that game. I think he was that particular game. He's been good most games, but that game was pretty bad. And they just seem to can't get all phases of the game together at one time. Either like the goalies play out of their mind and they can't do anything offensively and they lose 2-0, or the offense blows up for 5, but then the defense is terrible. The defense is terrible. The goalie's terrible. So again, the haters don't want Rask to play. but bitch at him because he's not on the ice. So I have to ask every guest, what is your whole take on, one, let's say, tell me what's wrong with Tuukka, and two, what is wrong with Tuukka? Why does everybody, like all these haters, hate him?
So he's been dealing with some discomfort. It's kind of been undisclosed. I believe it was Friday's game, Friday's game, that he was seen kind of grabbing towards his back. But he was practicing. Cassidy said today looked very positive for him. Obviously, he will not play tonight, Tuesday night. So, but it's good that he's with the team, that he's traveling and he's practicing. So that's good news. And as for just the haters, they are just a different breed of people.
Amen.
I truly feel that even if Tuukka does win a cup with this team, that he still will be just the villain. It'll be, the offense scored 7 goals. Oh, the defense bailed him out. They just don't give him the credit where credit is due. And there are some people I see on Twitter that have come around and like, okay, like maybe we do miss Rask, but then there's some that it's like, well, this game would be 6-0 if.
Oh my God, that.
And it's like, okay, what's the difference between 4-1 and 6-1? Because they're still losing. Like they still can't score.
I absolutely totally agree with you. I've been on the. Now, I'm a Tuukka Rask fan, but I call him out when he sucks. I mean, he's not having good games, but I just love the whole narrative where he can't win big games. Well, if you got into the Cup Finals twice, you have won big games to get there. I mean, you can't. Correct. The playoffs are pretty much every game's a big game. I mean, and in essence, you could argue right now they're in a playoffs mode right now. Yeah. But so Rask, I saw him holding his back as well, like you mentioned, and he's Halak is definitely not the answer. So I think Vladar, I probably didn't say his name right, but I think he's getting the start tonight. I think that was the rumor.
Yes.
He is getting the start tonight. So we only saw glimpses of him in the bubble against, backing up against, when Rask left the bubble. So he's backing up Halak, and his one showing against Tampa was not good. Tell me a little bit about him and Swayman. Like, are they knocking on the door here? Because I think Halak's only on a 1-year contract. I know Tuukka's expiring as well. So do you think one or maybe even two of them are going to be, kind of coming up to the big leagues here?
I definitely think they both could. I think it's Swayman. I haven't paid too much attention what's going on in Providence. But I know that Swayman is
Marlboro.
Marlboro, my hometown.
Oh, no way. Okay.
Yep. I know Swayman's been really, really good. He's been really strong. And I know that there's some people kind of worried, like, don't screw up what he's got going on. And like shatter his confidence right now in the NHL, because that's
like 6-0. Like he's 6-0 right now, I think, down there.
Yeah, he's strong. He's been very strong for the Marlboro Bruins. But I think with Vladar, it's just he's seen some NHL action, and at the end of the day, it's probably just one game, and maybe they don't want to hurt what's going on with Swayman in the AHL. And I don't blame them. You don't want to get someone's confidence so high and then just have it just rattled, like just shattered because Sidney Crosby, like who wants 3 goals scored on them by Sidney Crosby in their Bruins debut. So I think you remember Malcolm Subban? That happened to him. Do you remember that? Exactly. Game he got completely crushed. I believe I was at that game because every goalie was just hurt. And they had to start Subban. So right. You certainly don't want to see that, but I think it's still early enough in the season where they're thinking they're going to win, but they want to give the team the best chance to win. And maybe Vladar is going to be the goalie to do that tonight. Right. Let's see. Let's hope. I mean, and this will give all the Tuukka haters some glimmer of the future, because this is all they talk about. Who's the next guy? Again, it's kind of hard when you shit on a guy who's one of the most winningest goalies of a team that's been around since the 1920s, and also brought you to 2 Cup Finals. I don't know how many Cup Finals that Carey Price has gone to. I don't think any. I think Pekka Rinne's been to 1. I'm trying to think of, some of the other guys in the stalwarts in there. I mean, my whole thing too is the way they're going right now and the way the scoring woes are happening and all this. It's just that 2019 Cup just stings more and more and more, because I think the window is closing. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, I think Krejci may not be here after April 15th or whatever the trade deadline is. It could happen. But he may not be here next year. I mean, this is like the end, right? Like when Brady left the Patriots, things were coming to an end. Chara has left. The golden age in Boston sports. I know you cover the Red Sox, and I apologize. God bless you, because I don't know who you're going to root for there. They got rid of pretty much everyone. The only thing thank God for the Patriots right now. At least that's exciting. But
there's not a lot of really like, whoa, excitement going on in Boston, because I don't think the Celtics are ripping it up either. Can the Bruins turn this around? Because again, I just want to bring up the standings because I just think it's, wow, just so, because this division, I mean, I've been talking, like when they got this division together because of the pandemic, I was like, whoa, murderer's row here. I mean, New Jersey will be a pushover, and look what they've done to us. They've won, 3 out of 4, and they got points, I think, out of 4 or 5 games or what have you against us, and they have 8 total wins, which is really bad. And then you look at Buffalo, who's coming up this week. I know they haven't won a game. They're 0-9-1 in the last 10, but I mean, do you feel super confident the Bruins could beat them twice? I don't at this point.
Yeah, it's tough because I felt confident every game against them going against the Devils at full strength. So it's hard to, I mean, Buffalo's bad, but I also feel when the Bruins kind of get into this slump that they get really deep into the slump. Maybe they'll win one
yes.
and then it'll be like an overtime or shootout loss in game 2.
Right.
But it's just, I mean, they're struggling right now and it's hard to just
watch.
like, it is. I mean, last night I was just like, what is going on?
Oh, it was tough I mean, I don't know. I think the last 2 losses are 2 different types of loss, if that makes sense. Like the Rangers game, they had no pulse, nothing. They put 13 shots on net, and then the Bruins had like 15 plus shots on net in the first period against Pittsburgh, and they took the lead, and you're like, they're going to come out of this funk. And then when they needed a couple saves, Halak couldn't give it to them. And then you're like, here we go again. And then I think I didn't see much after, Halak let in those 2 soft. I didn't see much out of them after that, to be honest with you. And let me ask the question of questions. I hope it's not true because I like Butch, but do you think Butch is losing the room a little? I don't know. I mean,
I really don't. I don't think that's the case at all. I think it's just a matter of, like I said earlier, injuries are starting to pile up and, they have a tough stretch of schedule here. I don't think they have 2 straight days off for quite a while. So it's that, it's injuries. And I don't think Cassie at all has lost these guys. I think that the guys respect him. They think highly of him. And I think it would just be a lot messier if that were the case. We saw when Claude Julien lost the team. We've seen before in the Red Sox when Terry Francona lost his team. Mm-hmm. So it's we see what happens when the coach or the manager just loses control of the room. Right. I think we're so far from that. I don't think that's anything to worry about.
Yeah, especially with Bergie there and Marchand. I think now that Char left, I think Bergie and Char are kind of the same guy. I think they're very quiet leaders, where I think Marchand is very vocal, which he has said that, especially after the Tom Wilson hit. Hold on. Yes, my son has entered the room. I am recording my son. So he has to get the iPad. So again, we do not edit. Why don't you say hi to Lauren? Say hi to Lauren. Hi. That's my son, Alex. Hold on, everybody. I have to this is what happens when you have remote learning during a pandemic. Your wife's working and the iPad shut off, and you're the only one that knows the code on the iPad. So you have to interrupt the podcast. And all right, go downstairs and listen to your mother. So everybody can see my face on YouTube, so they'll be able to see. Anyway, so all right, go ahead, close the door, please, sir. Sorry, Lauren.
No, you're fine.
But this is the Zoom, Zoom, what Zoom is interruptions or lawyers down in Texas that has a big cat filter on or whatever. I mean, this is
right.
So, all right. So that's good about Cassidy. I'm happy to hear that. I mean, so from the Julian regime to the Cassidy regime, I think Cassidy's done a better job overall, but there's always these stretches, it seems, every year with this team that they just flatline. Like it's just, even like I think the season they won the cup, they had a stretch they couldn't win. They just couldn't, and we're not talking 3, I think they go like 8, 10, 12 game funks here. Right.
Yeah.
And if this was like in a regular year, if this was November, I wouldn't be bothered. It wouldn't be bothering me as much. I'd be pissed. I'm not gonna be wrong. I'd be pissed because who I am. But I'd be like, just plenty of time, But now I even was saying this at the beginning of the season when they were starting off slow and they couldn't score. And everybody's like, it's early. I go, not really, because 56 games goes by real quick. Every single game's a division game. So this isn't like you're playing Vancouver in November, and if you lose that game, it's 2 points, but it's not that much of a big deal. Whereas if you're losing these division games, that is a big deal because that's a big swing of points.
Yeah, like you said, it's these funks they get into. And I am a little worried, just a little bit, because it's the shortened season, because one good team is going to be left out of the playoffs, not just in the East Division, but throughout all of the divisions.
True.
And, it could be the Bruins, it could be the Penguins, it really could be anybody at this point, just because it changes every week. But, it's a matter of the Bruins just kind of getting back on track. Once they get some of the blue liners back, it's just a matter of meshing and figuring out what to fix. I was gonna know what to fix, but like how to fix that, how to fix it right away. There's not a lot of time between yesterday and today's game. No. And they know what's wrong. They know that the goalie wasn't perfect. They know their secondary scoring runs and all there. And Matt Grzelcyk scored last night. So it's like,
that was something.
What can we do to jumpstart everybody? Like we need to get, it's great to see Matt Grzelcyk score. I love what he does. I love he's a great puck mover. I love his speed, and he's a big transition guy, but we need more of that. We need that to happen when everything else is clicking, because if that happens, this team is so dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, we went through that time when they were coming back every single game. It was like come back. But now looking back at it, you were behind all those games. You had to make storm back. So they won 4 or 5 of those this year because you dug yourself a hole. I mean, you really dug yourself a hole. So I mean, this season's funky anyway. I mean, the last two, let's be honest, the last 2 has been funky. It's been crazy. I mean, I'm right now looking at the Discovery. God, that is the name of the division. The Discovery Central Division, and Florida's at first. Carolina is ahead of them, ahead of Tampa. And, and then Dallas, who went to the Cup final, is just basically doesn't much of a pulse. And Toronto's actually they're in a losing streak, I think, too. They've been hitting some tough times after they think they were punching their ticket, like Leafs fans punching their ticket, like what Montreal was doing after 2 weeks. We're going to be great this year. Montreal's falling off. Toronto's falling off. But I think everybody does go through these funks, but it's how long they go for. And that's what's concerning about this, because the Islanders, as much as I can't believe we're losing the Islanders, they're a good squad. They're good. I mean, Jesus, they've won 9 in a row. You don't win 9 in a row on a fluke,
No.
So if you had to pick a team, because right now the Rangers are heating up too. This is going to be scary. I'm kind of terrified they might miss the playoffs. I mean, they got games in the end against Washington and Pittsburgh and the Isles and stuff, but they can't beat the Islanders, can't beat the Devils. So these next 3 games coming up, tonight against Pittsburgh, I think is vital and just pivotal if they show up and win tonight. They have to win tonight. And now you go in with a rookie goalie. So these next 3 games, well, how many points do you think realistically they can take out of it?
I think realistically, I think they can take 5. I think that, I'm cautiously optimistic, but this is a crucial time too. It's great that they did get all those points and the wins in the beginning of the season, because it's going to be helpful, especially if, God forbid, COVID comes back at full force and shuts down the teams for a couple of weeks, like we saw in the beginning. But getting these games and these points now is crucial. Not that they can afford to ever not get a point. You want to get points any way you can. So I'm hopeful. I'm gonna go, I'm a very optimistic person, so I'm gonna go 5 out of 6 points.
God bless you. Because I'm not. No, I was saying that it was very important that they won 3 out of 4 on this road trip. So they already lost 1. So let's see how they turn this around. So say this next 3 games doesn't go as planned, and they maybe lose 2 out of 3 and 1 to Buffalo, which would be, wow, you're really rock bottom. I've heard rumors about Eichel, which I think is a pipe dream. And I do really want him. I know he's a local kid, but I don't think you need him. I heard Bobby Ryan and Mark Stahl, which I'm like, no. I heard that one too. I was like, I don't want any part of it. I don't want aging guys. I don't know how much they can bring to the table. Who do you think the Bruins, what have you heard? Do you think, who would you like to see the Bruins acquire? And, is this going to be Don Sweeney just getting a small piece, or is this going to be like Coyle and Johansson, which was a great deadline? Or you get Nick Ritchie and Kasha, which Kasha has been complete disappointment. And Ritchie the metamorphosis of that dude is just amazing to me, because last year he cost the Bruins probably one of those games against Tampa with stupid penalties and all that stuff. But he's turning around. He's been a decent piece now. I can't complain about him. But what do you think the Bruins have to do, and who do you think they could get, or who you'd like them to see to get?
I don't think they need something huge. I don't think they need an Eichel, because when you're bringing in someone like Eichel, you're giving up somebody who's already incredibly talented and, all-star caliber players. Like, does your team actually get better if you bring in somebody like Eichel, or does it actually get worse, depending on who you have to give up? I do think there's plenty of assets there. I do think they can bring in somebody, like I said, not some huge name. The deadline's still about a month away, so I haven't. I usually do like my scared research and like all that about like 2 weeks before.
Sure. Well, I'll hit you up then. I'll hit you up 2 weeks before. We'll see how your homework's coming along.
Yeah, hell yeah. But I think this team is close. I think they're, a piece or two away from keeping this window open. I don't think it's a huge name. I don't think it's a big name player. I think it's maybe somebody, like a Craig Smith, but maybe, that produces a little bit more kind of player. So, it's going to be interesting because I do think, as you said earlier, like this window is getting closer and closer to being shut. You want Bergeron and Marchand. You want those two and Krejci. You want them to win a cup together again. You want Tuukka to finally win his cup.
Win it. Oh God, please win it and just shut the haters up forever.
It would.
Like you said, it may not to, who knows, but I was, again, just 2019, I was like, this is it. He won game 6. I'm like, they're going to come home. They're going to win on Garden Ice. This will be amazing. Yep. And then they went down 2 or 3-0 in the first period. And I knew it was over. I knew it. Yeah. I was barely watching. I was barely watching. I was kind of in the background. And I was like, I know it's over. But yeah, I mean, let's see, Lauren. I hope they can, again, we missed enough hockey this last year plus already. I can't go into May and having no hockey anymore for the Bruins anyway. Like,
yes.
I built a new screen porch. I was watching hockey in August. It was great. I loved it. It was awesome. I want to watch hockey in May. I want to be out on my porch and have friends at 6 feet away with masks on, but we can watch it outside and stuff like that. But, I said, I lost my job back in the end of December. We're in a pandemic. All I'm asking for is, can my hockey team not suck? And I can't even get that. So let's hope they turn this around. Again, I think they really need to win these next 3. But like you said, 5 out of 6 would be, be pretty good. The other thing we can rest our hat on is that these teams are playing each other the rest of the season. So they're going to be knocking each other off and beating the hell out of each other. So Lauren, we have this segment called Ask Papa Bruin, but of course I let my guests also jump on in. Do you have a little more time to go some of these fun questions, or?
Sure do.
All right. We got a lot. So these questions, I'm going to warn you, not all have to do with hockey. They're everywhere.
Okay.
We've had questions about hot dogs. We've had questions about beer and music and all this stuff. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to bring them up. And what I do too, if you submit for the folks out there on my Big Bad Bruins Nation Facebook page, you submit a question. We think the question is the best one. You will receive a Big Bad Bruins Nation t-shirt. I should get you one too. I ordered Court Lalonde one as well. So let me write this down. Thank God for Post-its. Orange shirt. And Court shirt. All right, cool. All right, here we go. Drum roll, please. All right, and then you could probably definitely help me on this. So Rudy Gowern, I think I said his name right. Who is absolutely untouchable? You can only pick one. Everyone else is on the block. Don't forget expansion rules are coming. So I'm going to give you that one. Who is absolutely untouchable? You can only pick one.
David Pastrnak.
Well, even over Bergie. Good answer. I like that one. Even Cardillo, I'll answer this one. Is this rock bottom? Pretty close, kid. Pretty close. So that's that. I answered that one. Andrew Larson. All right. Do you think any fans will show up for the first home game if they lose the rest of the games this week? I don't think that was a serious question. They're going to be if they can sell 2,100 seats, there will be 2,100 people in there.
Oh yeah.
Let me ask you this question. I don't know where you stand on the pandemic. All like this. I asked Court the same thing. Would you go to a game in person right now?
I would. Because I've seen the fans spaced out. It looks safe enough, and I do feel I'm taking the necessary precautions, so I absolutely would go.
Right. Me, I'm still jury's out a bit. I mean, I just took my kid to tryouts in Fitchburg at the arena. There's only like 3 people in the stands, and I was still like, oh God, I wouldn't. My personal opinion, I would not yet. I'm just still a scaredy cat, I guess. Joshua Rudolphi. What have you heard in the area of trade rumors? We covered that already. Let's see. What happened if you can't beat him up? Oh, yeah. All right, here we go. This is a good question. Jed McGrath. What happened to if you can't beat him up? This team lost their balls weeks ago. What happened? I don't know how you feel about I still think they show. I mean, I like Frederick's game. He does, you know, that stuff he's going back and forth with Lemieux. I like that's kind of old school hockey. I think he does that. Marchand still gets in there physically. I think they miss Carlo from a physical and Kevin Miller big time.
Oh yeah.
So from the physicality standpoint, I mean, would they probably maybe acquire someone like? I mean, I like Tenorti actually. I like Tenorti's game. He's been pretty solid. So I mean, do you think they are? You know, do you think they lost the Big Bad Bruin? I mean, they're not the 70s Bruins, but I still think they have a mean streak. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so too. And I think some of it too, and this is, you know, you see the refs jump in so quick where it's just like, why even bother even trying to go at somebody? But I know, I do think, you know, except Frederick, love seeing him go after everybody. They're certainly missing Miller's physicality. Carlo's a big body. Even Lazon, that he's not afraid to throw his weight around.
Yeah.
So, and, you know, Tenorti's trying to step up there. That's great to see. But I think they're still, I mean, they'll never be the Big Bad Bruins, you know, from way back when, you know, I think that style of hockey is also just kind of gone. But that, you know, I think right now I'm good with where they are physicality wise.
So speaking of physicality and being the Big Bad Bruins, I think those days are gone, especially after Sean Thornton retired. I don't know if you saw that, but Sean Thornton's coming out with a book in October. Did you see that?
I did not. That is awesome.
I think, that is going to be must-read material. Absolutely looking forward to that. I think it comes out in October. If you guys hear me out there, you can send me a copy, advanced copy. I'll read it. Let's see, Ryan, what the hell happened to Bruins? We already talked about that. Multiple things. Do the Bruins have any sort of playoff hope without making a blockbuster trade? I think you and I both agree, Lauren. They have to get some players back. They have to get Carlo back, Lazon back. I think the blue line, you know, again, Zaboral has been a big surprise for me. I didn't think I arguably could say he might be the best one of that draft in that first round now, you know, because DeBrusk has fallen off the earth. And Zaboral's been solid. I mean, I'm surprised in Cision, shit, man, he comes up to try to make a mark and he gets hurt. So
I know,
I don't want to beat that draft to like a dead horse, but I mean, don't you agree that some drafts are franchise changing? Like if you pick the right guy or you pick the wrong guys.
Yep.
Because if they
really go either way.
If they got any of those, anyone else, like even one of those, like Shabbat or was it Connor, and also Barzal, like any of those ones that had the other two, it'd be a whole different ball of wax, right? That's crazy. Yep. And people just like want to wash it away. I'm like, you can't wash that one away. That's a big gaffe if they don't recover from it. All right, here we go. Leslie, Craig, Betty. I love people with 3 names and 2 first names. When and who got you into hockey? So we'll do both our answers. For me, it was my dad, probably when I was about 5 or 6. Miss him dearly. P.S. I love to sport a Big Bad Bruins Nation shirt here in Toronto. Well, Leslie, that would be a question to be considered as one of the best. So I'll give you that. So, Laura, what got your interest in hockey? Lauren.
It started when I was really young. We were big sports family in general. My brother played deck hockey growing up, so my mom would always.
Where did he play?
In Hudson.
In Hudson. Okay. I used to play in Drake as well as Hockeytown and Saugus.
Yep.
And I tore my ACL one game and I tore my labrum in one game. So you know, who does it? Who says hockey's not not just on blades? I mean,
right.
You get hurt, but go ahead.
Yeah, so we did that a lot. And my grandmother, huge sports fan.
Yeah.
My mom and grandma are also grew up in Canada, born and raised in Canada. So, we have that Canadian blood in us.
Cool. What province?
Nova Scotia, Halifax.
Nice.
So we, just kind of always had hockey on in the house. My family's big hockey family. So I was honestly probably 5 or 6. It was just after I remember my brother having Cam Neely posters everywhere, Cam Neely stuff, and I started really getting into it shortly after his retirement. And then it just became just obsession. I just loved watching the Bruins with my grandma. I loved starting going to games when I was a little older, and it was so much fun to just connect with my family that way.
Awesome, great answer. I hope I can even have one half as good as that. So my dad was never really into the major sports. He liked boxing and auto racing. Go figure. So my mother would always say, she grew up in Revere, and she's like, I met Bobby Orr and Derek Sanderson and Jerry Cheevers at what was Sanderson's club? Oh God, in Boston. Can't remember the name of it. It's a woman's name. That was the club they had with It was in
I don't know.
Sanderson's book. Do you know what I'm talking about? I can't. Oh God.
I,
You know what I'm
I
talking about. It's a woman's name. I can't. Anyway, drive me nuts. If anyone knows, please let us know. So, my mother, she liked hockey, wasn't a diehard fan. I don't even know how I got into it. I remember I've said the story before, like drawing a picture of Pete Peters as a brick wall. I always liked goalies. I even liked Tim Thomas, of course, too. I had one of those in high school, one of those varsity shirt coats. It was kind of similar to the ones they wore, but it was all black and it had the logo here. It was like kind of I don't want to call it like a nylon. Maybe it was a nylon. It was kind of a nylon. I still have it. I don't fit in it anymore, unfortunately, getting fat when I would get older. And then also the Bruins practice. I grew up in Wilmington. So the Bruins actually practiced in Wilmington, which was great. So, my late teen years, we used to go down there. So these are the ages of Adam Oates and Ray Bork and Neely and Andy Moog. And I mean, on and on and on. It's like, for me, that's the golden age. That's my team then. And that's when my fandom was like umpteenth level, right? So quick couple stories I'll share with you as well. I've told this before, but one day we went there, my buddy and I, there's like 3 people there, right? So we're going to we do dumpster dive and get the sticks and, all that stuff and get autographs. And, we're waiting outside and Lyndon Byers pulls up in his Jeep Wrangler, okay? And just pulls up, runs in there. The thing's open. He didn't put the top on all of it, and then it's going to rain. So he opens the door up, and we're still waiting out there because, like for an hour or whatever it was, 2 hours for practice. And he's like, "Hey guys, you guys want to lock up my Jeep for me?" And we're like, "Holy shit, of course we do, LB. Are you kidding me?" So we lock up his Jeep and everything, and then he's like, we throw him back the keys, and he's like, "Thanks." And we're like, "Oh, okay." We're like, "That's it." We're like, "That's it." But then, I made Cam Neely laugh before. It's like Cam Neely came out, everybody's around him, and he always signed autographs, always gracious, always signed autographs. And I'm like, "Hey man, give the $1 million man some room," because that's when he got his $1 million contract, right? And also Ray Bork was awesome. I was a big Adam Oates fan, as you can see behind me. So he was awesome, great guy too. One of the biggest heartbreaks for me was I was a big Andy Moog fan, as I mentioned, big goaltender fan. So he comes out. It was me, my buddy, and literally 2 other people. So it's 4 people. It's like a Tuesday afternoon, whatever it was. So I go, "Andy, I have an Andy Moog t-shirt on, I'm fanboying out. And I'm like, "Can I get a picture?" And he's like, "All right, hurry up. I'm in a hurry." I'm like, and I smile and he's like making a face like his dog got run over by a truck. It's like, come on, dude. No. Yeah. So I kind of and then some of the other guys I met were just complete assholes. Like Dmitry Karpatalnov, if you remember the Bonanza line, he was a dick. And Sean McEachran, being a local kid, he was a dick too. And I was like, well, whatever. And then the other guy that I just gave a lot of shit to, and it wasn't deserved, but it was Glenn Wesley, because I never forgave him for missing that open net against the Edmonton Oilers in 1990 Cup. But I've been a diehard Bruins fan ever since. When they won the Cup, I cried. I'm not going to lie, tears. You probably saw it on YouTube. I recorded. We were in Woburn at scoreboards, and we lost our fucking minds. It was a great moment, but that's how I got into hockey. I've always loved it. And my son loves it, kind of osmosis, or you probably have to leave the house. But that's how we got into hockey. So good answer there. We got a little bit more. Let's see. All right. It's a good question here. Does Jacobs love the Bruins, or is it just a business? Well, honestly, any owner that owns a team, it's business first. I think there are owners in sports that love the game, like Bob Kraft, for instance, with the Patriots. Right. He was a fan in the stands at Schaefer Stadium, Foxborough Stadium, back in the day. So he's a fan, but some people like a Jeremy Jacobs. I think Wick he's from Buffalo. He's not even from here. The ownership at the Red Sox as well. They're the most, I think John Henry's, none of them are from local. I could be wrong. You know more than me. But I mean, not all team owners are the fans of the team they own per se. You know what I mean? Do you agree or disagree or?
Yeah, I think, like you said, it's a business. And I think people tend to forget that, even though we love watching sports and we give so much of our lives to these teams, that, it is a business. And just as anybody, owns Under Armour or something like that, it's a business and they have to do what's best. And, it's okay if the owners aren't fans of the team. Right. But yeah, it's a business at the end of the day. So
yeah, end of the day. Right. And plus, he owns Delaware North and he's big in the concessions. Concessions are a big part of it. So when I'm not a Jacobs fan. I'm never going to be. That's how I feel. But like a owner like Bob Kraft, who was a fan, still is a fan, and now he owns the team that he cheered in those terrible aluminum seats in Foxborough. How will the lack of scoring be addressed, internally or externally? Play your game. Be some. All right. Okay. Sorry, I'm gonna kind of go through this. Most of these we covered. Beyond that, okay. Your connection is unstable. I don't like seeing that. All right. So let's see. I don't know what. I think I like the question of who got you into hockey. I think that was probably the best question. I always like reminiscing, and you had a great, learning more about you. So I say Leslie, Craig Betty, not only because you have three first names. You are our winner this week, and you can rock that shirt up in Toronto, right? In Leafs fans' faces, which I love.
Yay, Leslie.
So Lauren, it's also L's, Lauren, Leslie,
Woo!
buddies. All right. And there's one more thing, and then we'll round out.
Yep.
It's called What You Drinkin'. We do a segment called What You Drinkin'. I try to do that. I'm a big craft beer fan. Haven't been feeling great the last couple of weeks, so I don't have as many that I've tried lately because I've tried to cut back a little bit. Are you a beer drinker, alcohol drinker, wine drinker?
Yeah, I've kind of gotten away from beer really since the pandemic. I've been doing a lot of wine, not a lot of wine,
okay.
I've always been a big wine drinker.
What do you recommend? What's been a wine that you've liked lately?
I'm big into Riesling, white wine mostly.
Yep.
I can't find a red wine that I just love unless it's sangria. So mostly anything white and rosé. Love me some rosé. And I'm very basic. I've been drinking some seltzers too. So
yeah, I mean, don't apologize if you said you're drinking a lot of wine, because I've been drinking. Alcohol drinking has gone up like 40% sales or something since the pandemic. Yeah. I mean, what are you gonna do? Sit in your backyard around a fire, out in your deck, whatever, because you can't talk to people, But for myself,
right.
Harpoon was nice enough to send me a couple of cans of Don't Poke the Bears, the black and gold pills that Charlie Coyle and Chris Wagner worked on. I liked it. I'm an IPA drinker myself, but it was very light. It was kind of, I didn't want him to sell Harpoon. I don't mean to sell it. You say it was like a Coors Light-ish kind of beer. It is a Pilsner. It was light. I like Coors Light too, but you are higher level than Coors Light. So I don't want anyone to think that I'm poo-pooing on Harpoon. Harpoon is like one of the cornerstones of craft beer, because like the old school craft beer, because I remember going to those Harpoon brewery fests before they built the beer hall, like under the tents and stuff. And I don't know how many times I've was left that place pretty cross-eyed. I'm not gonna lie. I remember one time we had way too many, and I was leaning against, I think it's my friend's bachelor party, and I was leaning against the pole, and the bouncer was ready to come get me. My friend's like, "I got him," and just grabbed me, whisked me away before I got thrown out.
Oh no!
Then we got thrown into maybe this is a different time. Got thrown into a car. We went to the Harp, and a couple of my buddies were bouncers there, and I was just so trash, Lauren, that I was like sitting on the toilet. I'm not gonna get any more graphic than that. Just like texting my girlfriend at the time. Now back then, you would see every phone number you ever called. Like they used to get the big bill. I think I dialed her number like 28 times. I could be wrong.
Oh my God.
So I lived in Boxford. This is great. This is a good story. I lived in Boxford at the time. Now, I don't know if you know what Boxford is, near Topsfield. So it's a good 40-minute drive to Boston from there, I would say. And my buddy John knocks on, because I must have been still on the toilet, knocks on the door. He goes, "Joe, what? Your girlfriend's outside." I go, "Oh shit. Like I'm screwed now. Like she drove down." So what happened is I left my truck at Wellington, and we were all supposed to go to the Pats game the next day. Okay. And I was wrecked. So she drove me all the way back. We had to go back and get my car. And then I had to go, because we had a bunch of people going. It's like, I couldn't bail out of it. And I'm sitting there like a fetus, like the whole time. And I think people are like, "You want a beer?" I'm like, "Oh God, no, I can't even look at it," because I was just so trashed. But anyway, Harpoon had some great events, and their pretzels at the beer hall are phenomenal.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, oh God, I love it. Oh God, I miss being at bars and breweries. I really do.
Yeah, me too.
And the other beer I went down to the Cape this past week because my wife and my son and I just need to get out of these four walls as much as I love my house. And I live in Groton, which I have like a conservation land abutting my land and stuff like this. I have woods around me and stuff, but I need to change the scenery. So we took the three of us and my dog. We went down there and got it was like an old bungalow, 1815. It was built, whatever. And my mother, no, she was there. Thank God. I love you, Mom. And my wife was working remotely. My son was remote schooling. I don't have a job at the moment. So like we can do every day there. So let's go. So we went West Dennis, went to the beach a couple of days just to walk on the beach.
Yep.
It was such a good, it was so fun, even though we didn't really do anything, if that makes sense. It was just, we weren't at our house.
Right. Change of scenery, man.
Oh, absolutely. And I went down to Spinnaker Records down in Hyannis, and then I went over to Barnstable Brewing in Hyannis, Barnstable. I didn't even know Hyannis was just a village of Barnstable. I had no idea until about 2 years ago. But I tried some of their Jesuit juice because they both went to BC, I guess the brewers there. So that's really good beer too. So that was another Watcha Drinkin. Yeah, it was good. It was a good trip. I think we all need to get away, especially during this time.
Oh yeah.
And I'm heading up to New Hampshire next month to get a little planned trips, or do you try to get out? What do you do to kind of?
Yeah, so in the summer, in July, my fiance's family, they rent a house up in Old Orchard in Maine.
Nice. Yeah.
And my fiance has 4 brothers and sisters. They're all, some have kids, but we're all like in serious relationships, all married.
Yeah.
So it's so fun to get all of us together just for a week.
That's great.
And then my fiance and I, when we booked our wedding venue,
when you get married, congratulations, by the way. When you get married?
August 6th, 2022.
Okay.
We're getting married on Salisbury Beach. So we spent a couple hours up there just eating at where we were going to get married.
Are you still picking venues? Or do you have the venue locked
Blue
up?
Ocean.
Oh, I know what that is. Yeah, awesome. I didn't know they rented out for weddings.
No, we got the venue locked up. Yep.
Oh, good. That's awesome.
So
good
super excited.
Yeah, my wife and I, we got married up in York, Maine, and
it's great.
We got married at the I don't know if you know what the Stage Neck Inn is, but yeah, it was funny because it was end of September of 11, so the Bruins just won the cup 3-4 months. So it was a great year. I had a little miniature cup on my wedding cake and all that. My wife let me do that, which was very nice. Yeah, it was great. I mean, I couldn't get on the cake, but it was next to it, so I'll take it. You know what I mean? It rained 2 or 3 days before because we got a house up there. The day of our wedding, it was 70 degrees and sunny, and then it rained the next 2 or 3 days. So the guy upstairs must want to give me a break. The other thing I want to talk about quickly, and then we'll do outros, and you can plug your socials. If I remember correctly, you went to our last 1 or 2 Blogapaloozas. Is that correct?
Yeah, I believe it was the last one.
The last one. So, so that's because I remember. Who were you with then? What would you write for a blog or?
You CLNS Media.
Oh, you were with Mr. Gelso.
Yes.
Nicholas, if you're listening, Nicholas. All right, you were CLNS. Okay, cool. Well, they've come a long way since 17. Quite a long way, but no, it's great that remember meeting you, and a lot of people I still keep. We actually had a reunion call not too long ago, which was cool. Some of the guys that been going, because we started that in 2010, so that went 7 or 8 years. So it was pretty amazing stuff. But all right, let's go. So Lauren, I'm going to bring up right now kind of your, if I could find, I hate when you lose the computers, the actual share screen. Here we go. Let's try this again.
Yep.
All right. So plug your socials, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter. It's Lauren, 3 laws, and then Lauren with 4 R's.
Oh, I share that for people because I couldn't pronounce how many la-las and runs were in there. So.
It's been my handle on everything since even my AIM screen name in Alden High School.
You know my AIM screen name was?
What was it?
JMG Bruin, of course.
I love it. So yeah, find me Twitter, Instagram, find me on there. Find me on NESN.com. I am off this week. I'm taking some PTO. So my page will be a little blank this week, but right back into Bruins and Red Sox and NWHL next week. So we'll be super busy.
Awesome.
And you can, I'm on a slew of podcasts. I'm on the NESN Bruins podcast. I'm on some Snipe and Sully podcasts, a couple of my friends, Haley and Mark. And
which was that one? Which Snipe and Sully?
Snipe and Sully.
Oh, I gotta look that one up. I like the name.
We have a lot of fun on there.
If you ever want me on, I'd be more than happy to join you.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to have you on.
It'd be fun. It'd be fun. But Lauren, I want to thank you. It was great to have you. It was great to reconnect again after 4 or 5 years. But I saw you there tweeting and stuff like, why don't we have Lauren Campbell on? So again, thank you everyone out there in Big Bad Bruins Nation land. The Bruins, hopefully we turn this around. So when we talk next week at this time, I won't be very angry and wicked pissed off kid. But Thanks again, Lauren. I appreciate it. Everybody out there, stay safe. Make sure you follow Big Bad Bruins Nation on Facebook, Big Bad Bruins Nation on Instagram, on YouTube, and Big Bad Bruins 88 on the Twitter machine. Thank you, and be well and stay safe, everybody.